think so.
You didn't give me that assignment that I was in
Yeah,
charge
no,
of.
everything else, yeah.
No, I said, I saw him at the first snowmobile thing, and I said, I'll see you on Wednesday, he said, I'll be there.
That's something I thought it was.
Heidi's is on cable. Oh, Heidi, oh, Heidi, yeah. Oh, to the right, sorry, Heidi. Oh, that's right, that's fine, I haven't seen Mark in a while.
I think this is his first meeting, I think, here.
It is, yeah.
So we probably try to stay calm.
Derek's replacement.
I think there's a training.
I think he's,
They're all good.
right.
It's up to you three.
What about him? Boy, he killed.
John, you don't count. It's only up to 3.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm just gonna shoot it for the high.
It's 3 o'clock. I'll call the February Forestry meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes? So is there a motion to accept?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to accept the minutes as presented. All in favor signify by aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public comment, limit to 3 minutes, but whoever, public comment, okay?
I got something. From the previous meeting when you guys moved to, open the, trails, the designated trails to earlier in May. As a public land user, I don't care when they open those, they're maintained by people, but in my opinion, we need to keep people out of the out of it, the side trails and that. I don't know how that's gonna work, if there's gonna be signage. As we all know, there's a lot of times frost isn't even out of them, they're not vegetated yet, and we need to protect those side trails as long as we can. And in my opinion, if we, can somehow sign, if they're gonna use those trails earlier, like you guys decided, if we can keep the people out a little bit later, either back to the date, we did have a motion in our ad hoc, but this is my own personal opinion, sometime later than that would be ideal. Than that early May, whether it's whatever you guys decide. I think the ad hoc went to June 25th, but at some point later, so the people aren't side trailing and tearing things up.
Anybody else for public, is that it, Jim?
That's enough for me, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else for public comment?
Yep. I was talking about, John Street Road and Excelsior, having them open back up to the public in the winter for the road, just the roads. Right now the ski trails, cross-country trail, companies using them for grooming and using them for cross-country skiing. I just want them open back up to truck traffic, so we can use them like any other road. I'm not trying to stop their trails, just want access in the roads. We have their pretty good sized blocks just for access, to break them up when we're all hunting. I don't wanna have to trail a snowmobile or 4-wheeler to get in there when already in the vehicle. Yeah, just need access.
I'll make a comment that if John Street Road, was driven in the winter, it would totally wreck the Blue Hills Trail for skiing. That is the segment where everybody heads out and skis. That would shut us down completely. We'd be no longer. That's the honest truth.
Do I get to talk to? Yeah, just a second, I was just looking, Bob, that there is no agenda item for that today, but, go ahead, Bob.
I had to type it out so that my own mind could remember it all.
opening the funded ATV trails, which are the gravel trails, because the gravel is fine with me, but because this young lady got all over me about talking at the meetings, I didn't, get to have any input, so my question to that whole thing is, who's going to go and sign the rest of the forest and the logging roads and the toll roads and the forest roads, that don't open until Friday before Memorial Day? Otherwise, we've got nothing but confusion. Having the two opening dates this close together are only causing confusion. Most people riding on May 1st will assume that the Rusk County Forest is open completely and will go on the soft, non-gravel trails and route them. Next comes Jarrett saying, look at the rutting, we need to close all of these forest trails. Forest trails that are not gravel will all need to be signed with an opening date. I really feel that the May 1st opening date should have been brought to the Trails Ad Hoc Committee first, so that this could have been discussed and looked at instead of rammed through, so that Jared could get it passed, so that he could have rutted trails in May as an excuse to close the trails to the hunters, fishermen, berry pickers, and others that use the trail. Forest trails in the later summer and the fall. If we want sustainable forest trails open to hunters, fishermen, and berry pickers and such, we need to separate the opening dates even farther, in my opinion. We moved the funding trails to an earlier date, now let's move the rest of the forest opening to the middle or later June opening date, so that currently the open trails have a chance to dry out. I've talked to some of the hunters about this, and most are in favor of a later date so that the trails can dry out.
Okay. Anybody else for public comment? Go ahead, George.
My understanding is that those colored diamonds address that, off the gravel trail logging roads.
Not an opening date.
Well, that could be put in the information that, you know, if they take a picture of that sign and find out what the diamonds mean, that date can be changed to whatever the general public feels is, or the board feels adequate.
Well, the dates would need to get published or everybody sees them, number one. Number two, most of the people that I know that go up there and ride are not going to take their phone out and scan that thing and say, oh, I can't go here, last year I went there, we're good to go. So, I'm all about letting these trails dry out. You and I have been all over them up there, and you and I can attest to the fact that.
And there's some that are wet now in July, so.
Right.
Guys, this, I get what you're doing, but I think this is a discussion for your public trails committee. And come back here, because that isn't, the discussion between you two is not the forestry meeting, so if you would, please. George, have you got anything else for public comment?
No, I'm good.
Jared, are you, doing all of them again?
Lucky you.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec report. This time I had Mike type it so that I could actually read his chicken scratching. Snowmobile trails are not open and may not open at all this season considering the weather forecast. Snowmobile clubs were reminded. Not a second. Inside joke going through my head. The snowmobile clubs were reminded that they can utilize the $300 per mile maintenance funding solely on non-grooming activities if needed. Eligible maintenance activities include but are not limited to grooming, trail mowing and brushing, trail sign and post replacement, bridge and culvert repairs, plowing of parking lots and access roads, grading and bulldozing of trails, transporting of grooming equipment, upkeep of toilets and shelter facilities, the repair and replacement of trail facilities, lost because of vandalism or normal wear and tear on materials, labor, and equipment rentals to accomplish these activities. So basically, you know, they're not able to groom, so they're not able to recoup, to get that money through grooming. But there are lots of other avenues the clubs can take to access that maintenance money. Yeah. Trail work of any kind can qualify for that. So if someone has a really rough, rocky portion somewhere, any public, private land, if it's on county forest, they should probably work with us. Do it outside of local restrictions, but on private land, do some dozer work, and that time can go towards maintenance, in lieu of grooming, so. So the clubs know they can still access their maintenance money. We finally received our award letter for the new ATV trail project of $630,950. Mike has been working on the stormwater permit for that, culvert size and replacement.
How much was that?
That was our grant we applied for last spring, $630,950. $630,950. Was that a little over 7 miles, I remember? On 3 Lakes Road, and all the way up to Betty Lake Road. The Little Thornapple River Snowmobile Bridge construction project has been put on hold until next winter because of the early spring thaw. That's what Jerry was talking about. Expansive wetlands at the project site require the ground to be frozen for the installation of the bridge. So,
That bridge is built and ready to go?
I think so. Right?
Yeah, it's done.
It's not really an issue on our end. Not sure where that grant stands, we may have to get an extension, maybe not, either way, it doesn't matter, give us an extension if we need one. So, it's not really an issue, other than that it's.
Nobody can control Mother Nature,
Correct.
so.
The Ladysmith Lions Club held their 12th annual Fun on the Frozen Flambeau Ice Fishing Contest last weekend. The event was headquartered at Community Park this year, so it's a nice winter use of our park there. That's all Mike has.
Any questions for Parks and Rec?
I got one today.
If not, I guess you change your name to Dane.
I'm not that good looking, but I do my best.
Should we answer that or no?
No.
Ain't got that kind of time.
It has been an interesting month. Road limits went on very early, February 2nd, which slowed things down as expected. Several crews were able to keep working on cold morning and nights to keep plowing road in hopes that the limits would get lifted, which they did yesterday. Every day helps on that for these guys.
They're lifted until Monday.
Till Monday, yeah.
Monday at 10 a.m.
Cumberland Timber finished hardwood thinning and overstory removal on the North Star Sail and the fire lane. A little bit of wood forward and haul. Still working on the Sky Beaver sail on Highway 27. Roger White finished the All Steve sail out east on Cutoff Road. A little more left to haul there. It's all decked roadside, so he'll be able to haul that all summer if he wants. Futurewood is working on the Texas sail south of County B. Northwest Hardwoods did good work on the public enemy number 1 off Wirgo Road. It's a big hardwood thinning, moved out. They moved out as road limits went on. They were able to deck all their hardwood pulp at the Domtar Wirgo site in Exton. We'll haul that later. That is scaled and built, so. Paul Wycheck started work on the Sandwich Sail east of Hackett Road. He finished his Tamarack Swamp Sail. Although there's a little bit to haul. I think there's some Tamarack yet to haul. Definitely wood to haul. And the Country Forest Products still working off North Bergseth Road. Hardwood
thinning, overstory removal, and clear cut looks really nice. They're doing a great job using slash matting to avoid rutting. I was in there yesterday, really good. They do good work. Ted Struck finished cutting and forwarding the overstory removal of Young and Fairland. They did a nice job leaving the advanced regeneration throughout the sale. Done cutting and forwarding and overstory removal off Moose Ear Road. There's wood to haul. Still working on Slack Water sale on Slack Road. Done cutting the trunk sale. Not county some wood to forward yet though. Done cutting, working on the camel sale next to the trunk sale. That looks good in there. Working in the South Ridge sale, east of Packet Road, just south of Paul Wycheck still. The road in there has been touch and go, keeping a close eye on it. They are working when it is cold. J&J Enterprises started harvesting on the overstory removal in Aspen Coppice on Highway 27, Lee Lake Road. They are tiptoeing around, have been working closely with them, monitoring roads and main skid trails for excessive rutting. They have not met what the contract considers excessive yet. They are close, but have not reached the measurable limit. That's all Dane had, so as you can see, it's kind of busy out there. Tough weather.
Any questions for the timber sales report? Jared, if I can hold you up just a minute. Bob, I apologize. But for anybody who doesn't know, this is Bob Hauser, Wisconsin DNR. Are you just filling in for Derek, or are you taking Derek's place?
I'm just filling in for this meeting, both Derek and Pat are at fire training.
Okay.
For most of the week, so just filling the slot for the day.
If anybody don't know him, I apologize, I forgot to introduce you, but.
Quite all right.
Okay, Jared, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Hi, Jared. This is Bob Hauser with the DNR. He's been working out of Ladysmith for how long, Bob? Several. 15
Oh, it's gotta be 10 or 11 years now, somewhere around there.
He's done lots of work on
That was it.
Yeah.
Lots of time on the county forest and marking, cruising timber, dozer work, lots of expertise sitting over there today. Don't tell Derek it's Hey, January 18th, Mike and I talked to Senator Tomzak about the snowmobile funding deal that we talked about before, and we had sent a letter regarding the $1 million bridge in Sauk County that was funded ahead of projects that should have been prioritized ahead of that one. He suggested maybe sending a letter to the DNR requesting that they fund other projects instead of that one. Wisconsin County Forest Association basically did that. DNR's response said they probably weren't gonna do that, take it into consideration. He was gonna dig a little more and then get back to me. I have not heard back from him on that. I think he's been kind of busy with everything going on in there. So. Had an Elk Advisory Committee meeting January 23rd, just over the phone. Lots of discussion on population goals for the elk and creating 5 categories of population ranges rather than just a solid number to aim for. 5 categories would be, low end would be if they want to increase, then maybe like increase or hold steady. At the top end you want to decrease if it gets up to that point. So advisory committee is working through there.
What is their population goal?
Good question. I'll get back to you. You won't happen to know.
Not offhand, I don't know.
Well, your DNR. Wisconsin County Forest Association Legislative and Forest Certification Committee met on January 24th.
We touched on some legislation out there, certification issues coming up.
Derek gave a speech.
Well, that was, last week, Dane and I and Phil went to Madison for the spring administrators meeting. I gave a speech in Madison to some legislators and their aides, some aides, staffers. Not really a speech, there was a handful of us that got to do that. You should have saw me, I had my shirt tucked in. So that's a first. A second, well, a second. You weren't in on the interviews, but I tucked it in that day. Anyway, that went pretty well. I don't know that they hear what you say to them, but they were engaged and it was a good, worthwhile thing, I thought. Let's see. There was, Senate Bill 484, Terry's familiar with that. Talking with Phil Schneider and Terry, we ended up sending a letter to Corey Tomzak about that. I think that's in your pack. Is it in their pack? So that happened. I'm not sure when that bill is going up for vote.
Actually, Jeremy, we had that meeting in Cadott. Senator Tomchuk and Senator James were both at that meeting. And Corey Tomchuk is the one that sponsored it. For anybody that don't know, Senate Bill 484 deals with allowing Michigan centipedes down here at 165,000 pounds, 11 axle trucks. And they had routes to just about every mill in Wisconsin that they were gonna allow them trucks. There was 54 loggers, I think, 53 or 54 at that meeting in Cadott. Along with the two senators. Both of the senators asked multiple questions. Both of the senators got a very big earful. And as Corey put it, he says, I sponsored the bill. If I don't move it forward, it goes nowhere. He says, and I have heard you guys here today very loud and very clear. That was all we heard out of it, so.
Sounds good.
And Henry Scheinbeck was there, so. Sorry to interrupt you, Jared.
No, it's all good. You did a good job laying that out. What's going on there? The spring meeting in Madison, we heard speakers from DNR, several DNR speakers, lawyer. Talked a lot about adverse possession and stuff regarding that. A forest economist spoke. Heard about BMPs and certification, auditing tactics, carbon cycling. That was a Michigan Tech research professor. The WATVA, Wisconsin ATV Association president spoke. We heard about neotropical migrating birds.
Which is what?
Oh, do you remember? So there's all these little Tweety birds that fly around and they go to the tropics and then they come up here in the summer. And they use forests for habitat. Warblers, different types of warblers. It was interesting until I got tired of it. Tough one, to be honest. Yeah, they, basically sound forest management is good for them. Which is what we try to do. Let's see, we heard from, does that answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
The main thing I remember is warblers, they always.
Basically songbirds.
Yeah, yep. Heard from the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands, that was a good informational talk. You guys familiar with BCPL? Okay. Phil's an expert, I'll ask him.
That's where you get a lot of money from if you don't wanna take out a loan.
Yeah, they give loans, low interest or low interest. Probably low interest, yeah, low interest to any any public entity for basically anything. A lot of history there, they were given a bunch of land from the federal government and sold a lot of it.
And their fund balance keeps growing, it never shrinks.
Yep, we have this fund balance that holds out on it, it keeps growing. Portion of your speeding tickets go into that fund. We still manage, decent sized bit of land, I can't remember how many acres, maybe 70,000 or 40,000 acres for timber sale road. It was really interesting, a lot of history. Heard about forestry as social values management. That's all. How'd you like it? Did you learn anything going on there? Anything on things? Was it worth your while? Let's get that stuff. I know all about the warblers. I know about the warblers.
And where to get money.
Yeah, we had a good well-rounded group of speakers. Thought it was pretty good.
But it was, very informative. It shows that everybody there is working with the cards they have and coming up with the creative solutions to problems too.
So how do you go about getting some of that money here? What's involved?
You just reach out to their office and they said there's a lot less strings attached than your general, going through your, general bonding or getting your loans.
It's something to just look into, right?
I mean, I'm against borrowing money in general, but if you're gonna borrow money, I would say that would be a route that should be looked into. And I understand I'm in the minority on the borrowing money, so I would probably recommend, looking into that. What's that?
I'm on your same page, I don't like borrowing money either.
Yeah, I did take some notes, so
I'm just curious to what it takes or what, look into this more.
Yeah, you break up this they're very simple.
very simple,
applications.
yeah, it's not like you just reach out to their office and,
Sign up.
yeah.
They do a lot of stuff with libraries and schools, school libraries.
But he said pretty much any county.
Counties, towns, any government agency.
And the rates are guaranteed the day that you talk to them, and if the rates go down, you just let your application expire, just do a new application. But if rates go up, you're already locked in.
Right.
So there would be some advantages to going that route.
Right.
A little bit, okay. Had a carbon credit call, Ashley was in on that with Anu, Monday last week, I think it was. Our credits should be issued in the next few weeks, hopefully. So I got an update from Bayfield County. They're the first ones in this carbon deal. They have sold about 1% of their credits that are on the market at about $20 a credit, which is a good price. They've sold 6,600 credits. Before they see it dying, they'll have to sell 15,000 more. Just because they have to pay off the buffer pool and third-party expenses before the county gets sees the money.
How much was it for credit?
Around 20. The market is weak, there's not a lot of interest, consumer confidence needs to improve, is what I got on hearing from Bayfield County, so. Anu was,
So they basically gotta convince more people that they need to pay the credits.
I guess so. Yeah. Anu, of course, was speaking positive. They're trying some things to try to boost sales. We'll see what happens. The verification process for the second year of reporting will not begin until the first year is completed. The second year should go faster than the first year, I hope that's correct, that's what they said. Currently, we are about 5 months into our third recording year already. That completes my report.
Any questions for Jared? I guess that weren't asked along the line, anyhow. Oh. Jay?
We had a meeting here a while back, we discussed we're driving the pickups on the frozen road. We discussed, opening the forest earlier. Bob made a motion to open it, June 25th on the side trails, not the funded trails. That passed, not that it matters, Don was opposed to it. I preferred something a little bit earlier, June 15th, but it went through at June 25th. Not sure how you guys wanna handle that. We had Mr. Paulson and Mr. Sprague come and said similar things. And I wanna say about these two gentlemen here, how respectful they were. We had a little question and answer, and they were very, very helpful. Not sure how we should proceed with that, but if there's compromise, maybe we could find it, if we could work with the guys. You know, whatever would work for both of them. If there's anything that'll work, we should try it. We discussed if there was any trails to inspect, and of course in the winter time, there's not gonna be anything that's verifiable and accurate, really, until the loggers get done. So we don't have any that we looked at or any to verify, and that's pretty much where we're at with that.
Any questions for Jay? It's the only thing I would say, I think we need it on an agenda, as an agenda item for Mr. Sprague and Mr. Paulson to go through that, because we have nothing that it would fall under here for today.
Today?
We have nothing that it would fall under this agenda,
Sure.
Tom, so, it'll have to be listed as an agenda item, Heidi, and then we can discuss that.
Sure.
Okay with both of you?
And do you want us to tackle that at the ad hoc, or try to talk with these guys and see if there's something that could work between them, or what?
I guess, I'm one person here, so they're defer to three other here.
I would agree with that, start it there.
That way at least that you guys could come with a recommendation.
I just wanna go back to the one other thing that I really wanted to say about the deal with the funded ATV trails and the early opening. My opinion is this: if we allow the ATVs throughout the forest early, that's a death blow to those trails. I mean, they will just not sustain it. It will end everything. It's a month earlier, and we've had some problems in the past. You know, we've had troubles with what we consider inadequate bulldozing, and those are death by 1,000 cuts. But this, if we can't make sure that those people stay on the funded ATV trails somehow through you guys and George, I believe there's gonna be some major problems, and it won't take long. So.
Let's see, put that on next agenda.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Back on next month's agenda.
Any other questions for Jay, or Jay, you got anything else?
Not that I can, I'm just going through my scratching here and I don't see anything that.
Can you read it?
That's pretty good. I got my glasses just in case I couldn't.
Well, thank you. And I will say this, thanks for what you guys are doing. I sat in on that meeting, and there was a lot of good discussion there, a lot of good discussion.
If everyone conducted themselves like these two, this world would be a lot better place. I'm just gonna say that for.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I was at that meeting too, and that was a very, very good
Yeah.
discussion. I was gonna say though, you guys had discussed that too in your ad hoc meeting. You guys wanna rethink or bring something back on the next agenda too, as far as recommendations to address these trails?
The funded versus well, we made a motion and it passed, June 25th, right, Bob, is what you said?
But do you have any ideas, or would you have any other ideas about, like George was talking about, posting them? Other than, we just put up the diamond and run with that route, I don't know.
And there's probably hundreds and hundreds of side trails off of those.
And my,
Hundreds.
and my fear with that is if we don't put something in our ordinance, then if somebody does go tear one up, we've got no leg to stand on there.
Right.
But if we have it in our ordinance, then at least the county's got a foothold.
Okay.
Well, I think the ordinance does cover that though, doesn't it?
Is it? Yeah, it's in there currently as Memorial Friday.
It's already covered, it's just the funded trails changed.
Okay.
I would recommend inviting George or some of the ATV people that may want, the funded ATV trails open earlier to the meeting, just to see if they have, before we just go and say, okay, let's change everything. They may have some suggestions, say, hey, we can keep them off the logging roads this way. That would just be it.
Without signing every trail individually, where it crosses the main roads, if you had, I don't like signs in the woods, to be honest with you, but one that says, funded trails are, it would probably, I don't know what it would take, 20 or 30 signs maybe at the most, I'm not sure, I know it's down by W and, Fire Lane and some of those others, I guess Perch Lake, and, probably everyone's got a crossing or two, so you would need some of them. Cause all the funded trails are over here, there's none over here, so it would be just, if you had something that said you have to stay on the funded trails until a certain date, might be the easiest route.
And it might not be feasible, but at least it gives an opportunity if somebody does have an idea that we haven't thought of.
I mean, at the point where all the logging roads off the gravel trail are marked with a diamond, maybe a little sign closed until June 25th would be in order. Simple as
I
that.
think there's so many though, I mean.
That or
hundreds.
could you possibly, sorry Jay, but could you possibly put one larger sign on the funded trails?
That's at the crossroads.
Well, either that or where they would get on, whatever, that just,
We're working on that.
just a larger one that states, only trails open at this date are funded. Any, woods access roads are not open until such and such a date.
Cause we personally feel, they maintain them, if they wanna open them year round, all the power to them, it's good for that, but we wanna preserve these side trails as long as we can. So whatever it takes, if they need help pounding in some signs at the crossroads, I'll come help them too, so.
There are currently these brown signs out there that are obsolete, they say wrong information. Me and George are already working on exactly that. Replacing those with a better updated one and additional ones.
And I've stressed the importance of having the sign very succinct, very simple to understand, not quote the ordinance. Just gravel trail open May 1st, closed March 15th. Forest, the entire forest is closed March 15th till June 25th. Logging roads, that's what people call them, logging roads have their own identification, the diamond, and there could be a sign in there closed until June 25th on each one of them. I think that would help.
We could start in our direction.
Yeah, we've created a couple of drafts of that sign, and tossing around ideas on that.
So let's bring it up again next month. See where we're at.
Okay, Jay, nothing else?
I'm good unless you got any questions.
2024 ATV trail maintenance and development. Is there anything in here?
The resolutions are in there.
They were emailed to you and, but I do have there's a resolution. Yep,
These
they're the
are
ones we do every year.
Yeah, they're standard, so that, the grant applications require us to attach a resolution.
I'll make a motion to. much.
Yeah, that's just for that.
You do them all at once.
Oh, yeah. I will make a motion to accept all four and for the county board.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve all four of these contracts and forward them to the county board. Are there any questions, comments? None being heard, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion does carry.
Thanks, Jerry.
We'll go one by one, so. USDA APHIS beaver control 2024 contract. Jared, have you got? Copy of that?
I don't have a copy, but I can talk about it.
Yeah, it wasn't our.
It's in the email, but it's also.
Heidi, you got a total, cause I.
Hey, can you read that?
It is $14,477.
What was it last year?
In 23, it was 13,371 and 22 cents.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Do a good job.
Motion's been made to approve the USD. Okay. Motion's been seconded.
Waiting for a second here somewhere.
Is there any questions on the APHIS beaver control contract for 2024? None being heard, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Beaver control contract is approved. Advertise for campground host.
Did we get a campground host last year?
Yeah, we had one at Church Lake who also handled Audie, right next to each other. They're not gonna do it this year, so we're hoping to find one for Church and Audie as well as one for Joe's.
Did we go for this?
We did not get.
Josie might be, you know, we're taking a break up this summer, right?
This summer? I keep hearing different things.
Early this summer.
Okay, so I gotta move it up.
I nominate John Caleb.
What?
Yeah, just say yes, you'll be fine.
All in favor, say aye.
Put them in there before they're moved out.
I have a motion on the floor to advertise for campground hosts. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Undershoot. And that is what, Jared, 2?
Correct.
Any questions?
Just for the summer or what?
It's not paid.
It's volunteer, so you get free camping.
Gotcha.
They, do various things, minor maintenance, clean the bathrooms, answer a lot of questions, that's the big thing. Help people out, help them register.
Is there any further questions on the motion on the floor? None being heard, all in favor signify by aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion does carry. Pavilion use.
That's what it's for.
Oh, sorry.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Caleb. Any questions on the motion on the floor? None being heard, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Pavilion use is approved. Off-road vehicle ordinance updates.
Kinda touched on that already, but I was gonna let you guys know that our funded trails, the way it's written now, a truck can be on them when it's frozen. I heard from the state that we can't allow trucks on the funded trails even when it's frozen. So we'll have to.
Other than maintenance, I assume?
Yeah, correct, there's the exceptions of maintenance.
Okay, or cutting trees out or whatever.
Correct. And so that'll, next month when we deal with, well, that should be approved. And then the boat, also in the ordinance, boat landings are closed to ATVs and UTVs. I don't know why they close, most of them are accessed off town road. So we'll also accomplish that.
You'll bring that forward next month?
Yeah, then we'll deal with the, ski trail and hunters.
Okay.
We'll have a whole bunch of ordinance stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's all I had there for you right now.
George?
Going back to the June 25th discussion, my concern is we're gonna print a new map. And I wanna make sure that the rules that are in there are all accurate, and we wanna go to press no later than the end of April. So I'm hoping that we can get the right legal language on there before we go to press.
So, what you're saying is make sure in March we finish what we're gonna do, so that you have the right information.
Yeah, we're running out of maps, so we have to print new ones we got a section with all the rules on there, and we want it to be accurate.
Okay. Thanks for that, George. At this time, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session. Motion is made, is there a second? Mr. Caleb? Mr. Undershoots?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
Yes, we are now going into closed session. Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, Para 1, Para E, for deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public lands, properties, the investment of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. We are now in closed session. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session. Motion's made, is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Caleb. Mr. Briller?
Yes.
Mr. Undershoots? Mr. Caleb?
Yes.
Yes, we are now going into closed session, Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, Para 1, Para E, for deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public lands, properties, the investment of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. We are now in closed session. Is there a motion on the closed session topic?
I'll make a motion to send it to finance for open bids.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Out of county travel. None? That was easy. Budget review. Got anything I hear for, probably not this early.
All they're publishing right now is 23, I was seeing a 24 update.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion's been made to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Undershoots. All in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay.
March 20th.
Is that what it is?
Correct.
Set the next meeting date for March 20th, 3 o'clock.
There we go.
I'll make a motion.
And just so you guys know, county board on Tuesday is gonna start at 6, not 7.
Time I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion's been made, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, we are adjourned.